Alright guys, a massive weekend of boxing and it all kicks off up in Manchester. We got the Co-op Live Arena in Manchester hosting the Magnificent Seven card, headlined by Moses Itauma and Jermaine Franklin. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I want to make my prediction for the fight, say what it means for both fighters as well. Obviously, Moses Itauma is the one that steals all the headlines, but he's in there with a tough opponent, a guy that's gone to a decision with Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua. We also have Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman for the WBC Super Welterweight belt this weekend. I'll be making a video that's probably going to release tomorrow. It's going to be a long breakdown, preview, and prediction with film study, and basically everything you need to know ahead of that fight. I feel like everybody is picking Fundora come this weekend, but I'm giving Keith Thurman a very, very, very good shot in this fight, and I'll explain more in tomorrow's video. But if you all could, head down the bottom there, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and at the very end, leave all your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, let's start by talking about what this fight means for each guy. Now, coming into this fight, let's face it, nobody is picking Jermaine Franklin to win this fight. The storylines aren't, can Jermaine Franklin be the guy that takes Moses Itauma's own? No, that's not the storyline coming into this fight. The storyline coming into this fight is Jermaine Franklin, a guy that's gone the distance with Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua, a guy that's coming off the best win of his career, which was undefeated Ivan Ditchko. Can Jermaine Franklin be the guy that gives Moses Itauma rounds? Because Moses Itauma, in his last three fights, which are a step up each and every time, which was Dempsey McKean, Mike Balogun, and most recently Dillian Whyte, those three fights combined, which were all supposed to be step-ups, went for a combined 7 minutes and 42 seconds, something like that. Can Jermaine Franklin be the guy that gives Moses Itauma rounds, takes him the distance, tests him over the course of a fight? Moses Itauma, the questions are still there for him, for me. What happens to Moses Itauma after round 5, round 6? Does he gas out? Does he still hold that power? In a competitive fight where he is taking shots as well, if Jermaine Franklin cracks him, how does he take that shot? Does he have a chin? Because up until this point, we don't know. Everybody's saying he needs to go in there with a top dog. He needs to go in there with a top 10, a top 5. We haven't seen this guy get punched. He could go down like a sack of shit very easily. We don't know. All right, I think people probably in sparring, all right, in his inner circle know what happens when he takes the punch. But for us, the wider public, all we've seen of Moses Itauma is him going in there, being aggressive, being physical, dominating his opponent, and dispatching them very, very quickly. So Jermaine Franklin, the question coming into this fight is, can you be the guy that goes 10 rounds with him? Can you trade with him? Can you be competitive with Moses Itauma? See what Moses Itauma does when he's under fire. And those are the questions. Those are the reasons why I've been continuously saying Moses Itauma just needs step up after step up after step up. He doesn't need a leap. All right, he doesn't need to go in there with this top guy because, yeah, he can be competitive. I don't doubt he can be competitive. But can he win those fights? Can he reduce the amount of damage he takes? Can he take a shot like that? We haven't seen him cracked. We haven't even seen him hit a few times just to condition him to take a big punch by one of these heavyweights. So those are the questions for Moses Itauma. And for Jermaine Franklin, he's coming into this fight basically to go rounds with the guy. A success for Jermaine Franklin would be go 10 rounds. For Moses Itauma, if you're Moses Itauma, a success would be in coming in here and getting rid of him as quickly as possible. But if I'm in the inner circle of Moses Itauma, if I'm picking the fights for Moses Itauma, what I want to see from the guy is a competitive fight. I want to see growth. I want to see development. I want to see a competitive fight where we get to see you over the course of 10 rounds. That, for me, would be a success for Moses Itauma more than a round 1 knockout. Obviously, they're always in there to get the job done as quickly as possible. But if you're working with Moses Itauma, you want to see how this guy goes over the course of a fight. Now, realistically, this fight, for me, will hold no surprises. I would be astonished if Jermaine Franklin wins this fight. Now, Jermaine Franklin's one of those guys that I feel like we talk about these fighters a lot. And it's always sort of in the same vein. It's, Jermaine Franklin, he went the distance with Dillian Whyte, Anthony Joshua. Yeah, he didn't win those fights, but he went the distance, so he's a good fighter. Like, a bit like Edgar Berlanga. We came into that fight saying, against Hamza Shiraz, he's a good fighter. He went the distance with Canelo. But then he gets wiped out within 3 rounds, and it wasn't even close or competitive. And I feel like this might be the same vein. Because Jermaine Franklin, realistically, his best win up to date is Ivan Ditchko. Yes, he was an undefeated fighter. Yes, it was a good win. It was a decision win. But the biggest fights of his life, which were Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua, he lost. And coming into this fight, realistically, if he loses this fight, it'll be what everybody expected. Everybody expected him to lose this fight. It really just comes down to numbers. When do you lose this fight? Do you lose this fight in 1 round? Do you lose it in 5? Do you lose it in 10? That is the question of this fight. It's how competitive the fight's going to be, how competitive is Jermaine Franklin. Because Jermaine Franklin has come in as a tough, hardy opponent that's supposed to be veteran experience, give Moses Itauma a tough time, give him a hard fight, make it a rough and tumble fight, and see how Moses Itauma adapts to that. Realistically, this isn't a can Jermaine Franklin upset Moses Itauma? Obviously, it is heavyweight boxing. And like I said earlier, we haven't seen Moses Itauma hit yet. If Jermaine Franklin lands a shot that we know he can land, Moses Itauma's reaction to that shot will tell us a lot about how that fight's going to go. Because if he eats it up, there's no question. If he stumbles, if he wobbles, if he crumbles, Jermaine Franklin could have the biggest win of his career. And Moses Itauma, it's a risk for any fighter to get in there with Moses Itauma, in my opinion, because Moses Itauma is slowly building his resume, 21 years of age. If Jermaine Franklin comes in and beats him, knocks him out, Jermaine Franklin probably won't get the credit he deserves because people will make excuses. They'll say, well, Moses Itauma's young. He's inexperienced. It was a step up. He got unlucky. He's young. He'll keep growing. Whereas for the other way, if Moses Itauma destroys Jermaine Franklin, the talk will be very different between the two fighters, if that makes sense. So for Jermaine Franklin, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of winning to be done here. You either beat up a kid and they'll make excuses for the kid, or you lose to the kid and they'll say that you're cooked. So, it is brave from Jermaine Franklin. Ultimately, my prediction for this fight is Moses Itauma, and I think he gets it done within 6. I don't see it going the distance. Like I said, yeah, he went the distance with AJ and Dillian Whyte. Great, you went the distance with Dillian Whyte. I know this maths doesn't always work, but you went the distance with Dillian Whyte. Moses Itauma knocked him out within 3 minutes. So if you're doing that maths, if you're doing I beat him, so I beat you, if we're doing that maths, it's no question. But ultimately, Moses Itauma, he is so good. He's so quick. He's so athletic. He's so talented as well. Like, his physical ability for his age, as well as his tactical nous and boxing IQ, is unbelievable for a 21-year-old. And I think he's just going to run through Jermaine Franklin. I think he does it in 6. Like I said, I will be making a longer breakdown preview and prediction for Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora tomorrow. There's not a lot to talk about in this fight, if I'm being completely honest. I think it's very one-sided. I think it'll go one way. I don't think there'll be any surprises. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments below, am I not giving Jermaine Franklin enough credit, or do you agree with me this is an easy night for Moses Itauma? I'm out of here, guys. See ya!